Mike's Daily Podcast.
This looks like a Friday to me, my friend. We are at Friday. Yay. Friday. It is episode 1402-Font. Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, the last place on earth. Today, Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley, plus the segment called Live and LOCO, because there's some LOCO things in the news.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I was visiting with some lovely ladies yesterday.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Yes, I call them lovely ladies. Hey, that sounds like Jerry Lewis. And then I went inside a coffee place and said, I can do this. I can drink a lot of coffee called Hippies Brew. They make delicious coffee that you can drink and tea. But they're
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Credit card reader thing will break down frequently, so bring cash. That's how it is. And
Mike's
in San Francisco,
Daily
that's often going on.
Podcast.
People can't pay all the credit card points that they got to pay for when they're a small business or what have you, and they say, hey, cash only, which I can't stand, because credit cards have rewards on them. The credit cards I have anyway all do rewards, and I love that, because then I can get like Amazon gift cards and whatnot later on. Look who just walked in. Hello, Michael Matthews. It's Madame Rootabega. Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world. Ooh. Yeah, and it's funny because that was according to Bloomberg. He beat out Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, the head of Amazon. Then, like about 5 minutes later, Bill Gates was back on top again. So it's very close between the two. But the fact is, the dude's rich. Look who else walked in.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we want Chris Christie to be the president.
Yeah, president. Do you know that? Well, the fact is that there is... Oh, somebody just discovered that there's pasta here at Cafe Anyway. Delicious pesto pasta. Hey, that's a good thing. I think we should go eat up and forget about Chris Christie.
He should be president, though.
The fact is, there was just a study done.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Of the most well-liked governors and the least liked governors, and guess who is at the bottom? Chris Christie. The podcast picture today...
Mike, that's neither here nor there. Give me some penne pasta.
Yeah, I want some pesto pasta. Do you know that? Wow. Well, they're going to go and get the pesto pasta deliciousness. Sit down, guys. I have an offer you can't refuse. Pesto pasta. The podcast picture, all these plosives, is of the place I was. Where is the... Oh, gosh, this picture goes back years. This is a 10-year-old picture. I was living in Ventura, and I used to make trips down to Los Angeles, and I liked stopping by. Well, I stopped by once on my own at the Getty Museum, and it overlooks West Hollywood, Santa Monica, that area, Century City. Then I took a picture. It's a very fascinating, lots of travertine, just rock, stone everywhere, and vegetation, native vegetation from the Southern California area. It's a fascinating place. And, of course, all the art inside. Historic art and sculptures. All there at the Getty Museum. You can see that picture at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST-1402-Font, where you can also help us out. There's an Amazon link. Yes, make Jeff Bezos even more rich. But when you buy anything on Amazon, and you go through MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com, that helps us out. There is also the link to the PayPal if you'd like to help us out that way. You'll get a special MP3 for thee from all the Cafe Anyway characters. And you can hear all the past shows at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. So yes, I was having coffee with Sylvia and Leilani, and they looked lovely, and it is just an honor to talk to them. We have a good time. We have a fun time talking, and Sylvia is the only Buddhist I know. I went through my whole life without ever knowing a Buddhist, and now I know a Buddhist. So it's cool talking to her about what Buddhists believe and how they practice their religion and their beliefs. And so, very fascinating talking to her. Leilani is a fantastic dog fan. She does a lot to help out local dogs in Podcastro Valley, who's maybe their owners don't get to walk them as much. Leilani helps them out. Hey, here's the thing. Why do when I walk my dog, the wonderful Basil the Boxer, do I get people constantly, and I understand it's because he's a boxer, and boxers look like pit bulls, and people freak out over pit bulls, and he's a kind of a bigger dog. But, oh my God, I'm getting so tired of the people just going out of their way. I'm trying to walk down the sidewalk, and they're like walking into the street. And yet I've got Basil as far away from them as possible. Or they're walking their dog. This guy yesterday, he's walking a tiny dog. And we're on a path. We're on a path in the park where dogs can be off leash, and it's a huge path. It's wide, really wide. And he goes not only to the other side of the path, but goes up the hill and as far away from me as possible and waits and just sits there with his dog till I walk past with Basil the Boxer. It was insulting. It's insulting. I get so tired of it. Every time I meet a dog, people don't know how to approach dogs, and that's a part of an education of our society. In a society in which we live, where dogs are everywhere, and sadly dogs are being abandoned, I hear these stories constantly. I meet people with their dogs, their cute dogs, their happy dogs, and I ask them, oh, where'd you get your dog? And they're like, oh, he was just walking the streets of Oakland at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I rescued him. Oh, he was walking down the 880, walking on the freeway, walking around in Richmond, just abandoned in Vallejo, abandoned in San Leandro, abandoned all over the Bay. People just abandon dogs, and it makes me sick. Ugh. So thanks for letting me get that off my chest. If you agree with me, please drop me a line. Email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com, or you can call me at 336-MM-DAILY. But we need to learn that there are proper ways to approach a dog. You don't approach a dog like you're scared to freaking death. The dog picks up on that and knows something's wrong. Dogs sense when something's wrong. And I think we need to listen to that, because we don't really know when things are wrong. And by wrong, I mean we're in a situation where we're giving off weird energy, where there is something wrong with us, not the dog, with us. And we need to chill and relax and just, you put your hand out, you don't put your fingers out, you make a fist, but let them sniff you. They're all about their nose. There's all these tips online. People just need to know the proper ways to introducing themselves to strange dogs. But I don't understand. So I'm going to be at a karaoke party tonight. If you'd like to be part of this karaoke party, my latest Mike excursion, you can call me 336-MM-DAILY or mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. The C-SPAN callers this morning I was watching, they are all drugged out. They're calling in, I want to talk. And now I'm hearing the Republicans are forming a special counsel to investigate Hillary and James Comey, because they just have nothing. They're mad that Trump's being investigated. They're mad at the media, but at the same time, they're mad at Trump for trying to fire Jeff Sessions. And Republicans are saying, no, if you try and fire or remove Jeff Sessions, Mr. Trump, it's impeachment time. Republicans are saying this. And finally, I'm increasing the size of my font. What? On my computer. The print is too darn small. I can't read it, so it's time. Thank you to Haley for teaching me how to do it. Because it is... I walk in here in the morning and I can barely have my eyes open because it's so early. And my computer, I need to read things going on. I need to work with it, and I can't read it. So thank you, Microsoft and Bill Gates, now the richest person in the world, because Jeff Bezos just went down a point, making that font adjustable. Okay, let's get to this wonderful segment called
Live and Loco.
I would like to say Adobe Flash is a pain in my side, and I would have started this show, it's like 6:17 right now, I would have started this show way earlier, but every time I opened up an article, it would crash, and I'd have to do this funky thing to my computer and get it all restarted, and it just wasted time. So here I am, I'm using Microsoft Edge. Thank you, Bill Gates, for that. And I am reading an Associated Press story that says, it talks about that whole Senate bid to repeal Obamacare. Dealing a serious blow to Donald Trump's agenda, the Senate early this morning rejected, they worked late last night, rejected a measure to repeal parts of former Barack Obama's health care law after a night of high suspense in the U.S. Capitol. Unable to pass even a so-called skinny repeal, it was unclear if Senate Republicans could advance any health bill despite 7 years of promises to repeal Obamacare. This is clearly a disappointing moment, said Mitch McConnell. But it's time to move on. McConnell put the health bill on hold and announced that the Senate would move on to other legislation next week. And we're talking about tax reform. A key vote to defeat the measure was cast by John McCain, who returned to the Senate this week after receiving a diagnosis of brain cancer. In an impassioned speech, the day he returned, he had called for bipartisanship on major issues of national concern and returned to the regular order of legislating by committee, and he bashed the media because he wanted to appeal to Republicans who love bashing the media now. It's all about that. The final vote was 49-51. Republicans Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Susan Collins of Maine joined McCain in voting no. Apparently, Murkowski got some heat from Trump for doing that. And now, speaking of McCain, he believed when he voted against it, he did not believe that the skinny repeal would actually reform our health care system and ensure that Americans have proper coverage. He says, while the amendment would have repealed some of Obamacare's most burdensome regulations, it offered no replacement to actually reform our health care system and deliver affordable, quality health care to our citizens. And the Speaker's statement that the House would be willing to go to conference does not ease my concern that this shell of a bill could be taken up and passed at any time. McCain cast the crucial surprise vote that killed the Senate GOP Obamacare repeal bill early this morning, at least temporarily. It ended the GOP's hope of eliminating former President Obama's signature legislation. Before voting, McCain would not say how he would vote, but he told reporters to wait for the show. McCain was seen giving Lisa Murkowski a thumbs down, signaling his intentions. And on to Russia. Let's see. Russia told the U.S. today that some of its diplomats had to leave the country, and they have to leave the country in just over a month. Some of our diplomats have to leave, and said it was seizing some U.S. diplomatic property as retaliation for what it said were proposed illegal U.S. sanctions. Russia's response, announced by the Foreign Ministry, came a day after the U.S. Senate voted to slap new sanctions on Russia, putting President Donald Trump in a tough position by forcing him to take a hard line on Moscow or veto the legislation and anger his own Republican Party. President Vladimir Putin had warned yesterday that Russia had so far exercised restraint but would have to retaliate against what he described as boorish and unreasonable U.S. behavior. Now, on to other things going on in the White House, and that means also this guy Scaramucci, Anthony Scaramucci. He has become, President Trump's communications director as of late last week. He has managed to cement his place in White House history with an obscenity-filled conversation with a reporter in which he crudely attacked fellow senior staff members. Scaramucci is a hedge fund operator dude and has never before held office, has never before given service to in the political realm, as our president has also never before served office. So there was one guy that called into C-SPAN and said, maybe this is something we should do. This should be a law that you should at least hold some kind of office or do some kind of service in public office. Something to that effect. But Scaramucci called up on Wednesday night to Ryan Litza, the New Yorker's chief Washington correspondent. And he did a rant against White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus, calling him a paranoid schizophrenic. He also insulted Trump strategist Steve Bannon and threatened to fire the entire White House communications team. The reporter said that Scaramucci never asked for the conversation to be off the record. So, hey, Scaramucci opened the call demanding Lisa give him the source of a tweet he sent outlining the president's dinner plans with political pundit Sean Hannity and former Fox News executive Bill Shine. I said I couldn't give him that information, Lisa wrote. He responded by threatening to fire the entire White House communications staff. Interesting. In addition to threatening the entire staff to get Lisa's source, Scaramucci also appealed to Lisa's sense of patriotism. You're an American citizen. This is a major catastrophe for the American country. So this guy Scaramucci is totally acting like the guy during his name escapes me, the Red Scare. McCarthy. It's total McCarthyism time now with Scaramucci, trying to scare the moochie out of everybody, but we'll see what happens with him. He seems like a hothead. Hey! Finally, a team of security researchers at Google discovered and blocked a new family of Android malware developed by a cyber arms company that may have its roots in state-sponsored spying efforts. The malware, known as Lipizan, is that the same as Lipitor? Okay. Well, contained Lipitor. Hey man, when you get into your 40s, the doctors are totally pushing Lipitor on you. Yeah, they want to get you on drugs right away. It contained references within its code to an Israeli tech firm called Equus Technologies, which offers tailor-made innovative solutions for law enforcement, intelligence agencies, and national security organizations. In the Android developers blog, the Google's threat analysis group detailed the malicious software, which they called a multi-stage spyware product, this according to the International Business Times. The researchers found Lipizan had the ability to monitor and steal communications from the device. The malware could hijack a user's email, SMS messages, location information, voice calls, and local media. This is why I don't think the wallet is going to be replaced by the smartphone anytime soon. There is just so many, and like the story we talked about yesterday, so many privacy and security concerns revolving around your smartphone. You know, paying with your smartphone and having all your information in it, it's not a secure way to go yet. It could also snap screenshots of the user's device and hijack the camera to take pictures or record video. Hey, my smartphone's on right now, and I'm doing something I don't want other people to know about. Why is this webpage trying to show me Emily Ratajkowski's house over and over again? Nobody plays that video she was in, Blurred Lines. That song's gone now. People don't play it because they're like, no, I might as well just play the song that it was ripped out of, that Marvin Gaye song. When active, Lipizan could steal data from a number of apps, including Gmail, Google, Hangouts, LinkedIn, Facebook Messenger, Skype, Snapchat, and WhatsApp and Viber. So There you go. Be careful of that. And more info can be found at International Business Times and on the Android Developers blog as we go outside a cafe anyway where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Next show, it's going to be Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the Engineer. Enjoy your wonderful, wonderful day and weekend. I'll try and be speaking to you on Sunday night, hopefully, or Sunday day, or sometime around Sunday. We shall chat again. Ta. See you at the Mike Excursion. If you want info, let me know. You're awesome.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!